Steve, how do you sum up the magnitude of this game now, given what happened on Thursday?
Every step forward in a qualification campaign hopefully is an even bigger game, because that means that you're involved in the shake-up at the top end of the table. So obviously on the back of a good win the other night, we need another good win on Sunday.
Is the message quite easy to take nothing for granted against Belarus?
Of course. I think in my tenure we've done well against the so-called lesser teams in the group, and it's very important that you get the points off these teams. It's very important we get the points off Belarus. They'll come here, they'll be organised, they'll be difficult to break down, and until you break them down, it's a long night.
Is one of the key messages then, not only to your players, but maybe to those in the stands, about being patient then, given that they could make it difficult?
No, they'll make it difficult, but it's up to us to make sure that we approach the game properly, which we will. It's up to us to make sure that we create enough chances in the game to get the crowd excited, which we hopefully will. And then from there, it's not about patience from the crowd. It's the crowd need to back the players need to give the crowd something to shout about, and that's what we'll try and achieve.
This is going to be a landmark game for you as well. Nobody else will have taken charge of more Scotland games. Do you look at that? Are you proud of that milestone, or is it very much focused on the game?
Well, I think I'd be a bit daft if I wasn't proud, because obviously I'm the first guy to reach that amount of games, so that's nice. It's nice for me, but that's a little personal thing at the moment. It shouldn't be about me, it's about the team, and it's about trying to get to the World Cup, so that's what we're going to focus on.
Steve, when you started out as Scotland manager, what were your expectations?
Be successful, good group of players. I knew I was coming in. The brief was qualify for tournaments. We've managed to do that twice, but we want to do it again because we're all greedy. So that was, expectation was to do as well as I could. I've always looked at the players and you're thinking, what can we do to improve? Did I think I'd last this long? Probably not, but here I am.
Yeah, I'm still here, yeah. Have you noticed in that time, though, and maybe part of it's down to the loyalty you've had with the players, that it has become more a team environment rather than a national team environment, more like a club?
Yeah, I think there's a balancing act there. Obviously, I've been fortunate and I've managed to put together, or they've put together themselves, I'm not sure which way around it was, but we've put together a really strong nucleus in the squad that we've managed to build on, and there's been an evolution round about the sort of main core, and that's what creates the environment, because when they come together, they know each other. Obviously good results help. The more good results you have every time you get together, you feel good about the guy sitting next to you, because you know you can trust them. For me as a head coach, I've got a lot of players that you know over the years that I've always trusted, and by and large, they've never let me down, which is great, and hopefully I've never let them down. And that's how you build that sort of trust, and like you say, team spirit or club spirit. It's that familiarity. But the familiarity doesn't come if you're not successful, because I'd have been at the door and somebody else would have been in, and maybe they would go a different way. So it all sort of adds up to where we're sitting just now.
I know that you're a very experienced manager. Who do you go to for guidance? Who do you speak to try, if you need to ask a question about whether it be management or how to handle the players?
I've got one of the mirrors on the wall that you go and stand in front of. You say, right, you idiot, what are you doing next? That's it. I don't really, I've always gone along the lines of, I'd rather make my own mistakes. I'd rather make my own decisions. If it's the wrong decision, I can live with that, as long as I know I took it in the right way. If it was a good decision, then I can give myself a pat on the back, and I'm not going to somebody else and saying thanks for helping me out. So, by and large, I trust myself.
You're 3 wins away, Steve, from creating a little bit of history in terms of taking Scotland back to a World Cup again. And I know you want to say this one game at a time. Tomorrow's a huge step, though, is it not? Regardless of what happens out in Denmark.
Yeah, tomorrow's another step, and it's the closer you get to the end of the qualifying campaign. If you're making positive steps and you're moving forward and you're picking up the points that you need to pick up, then it just makes the next game bigger and the next game bigger. So hopefully on Sunday night we're sitting smiling and thinking roll on November, because we'll have 2 fantastic games to look forward to.
Steve, given the resilience the team showed in Copenhagen again the other night, how much do you just sense there's a real inner belief, inner steel within this group that they just want to get this job done and get to the World Cup?
Yeah, it's there. You can see it in the performances. You can see the players are determined to do everything they can to make sure that we get to the finals. But talking about doing it and actually doing it on the pitch is 2 completely different things. So far we've managed to do what we wanted to do, and we still have 3 more steps to make, and hopefully a big one tomorrow.
Why does getting to a World Cup mean so much to you? It feels even like a few years ago you were always talking about you were the guy to get Scotland back to the World Cup.
I wanted to go as a player. I didn't manage to achieve it. I got pretty close in 1990 when I was in the pre-World Cup squad. That hurt. Still hurts a little bit now that I haven't been to a World Cup with my country. So I've got a chance to do it now. We're a fantastic group of players that want to be the first ones since 1998 to take their country to the World Cup. So hopefully it marries up together and we can manage to achieve that.
Just when Billy Gilman spoke to Billy, he was talking about how frustrated he was not to start. Can you understand that frustration, how impressed?
Yeah, I'm frustrated as well that I can't pick every good player on the pitch. It always seems to be that the one you leave out is the one you get hit over the head with. That's just my life. That's part and parcel of the job. So I feel for him. Obviously, I feel for him. But I knew the way Billy was training during the week. I knew when I put him on the pitch that he would help us, and that's what he did.
Steve, in your time in Scotland, is there moments when you thought about not being Scotland manager?
Not really. Not really. I always like to think I would see out my contract after the Ukraine, so the playoff defeat. Took a little bit of time, but eventually we decided that I should get another contract. I got that just before we went into the next qualifying campaign. It seemed to work all right. After the tournament last summer, I had a chat with Ian Maxwell, and I said, look, I would rather just sit on the contract I'm on just now, and we'll see how that pans out. So that's basically the only sort of situations where I could have been in a position to think about doing something else, but no, I quite enjoy the job. You don't always see it in here, but I do quite enjoy it.
That's very true. You said when you became Scotland manager that you weren't sure it was going to suit you because you were so used to being a club manager. Have you got used to the job? Are you kind of developed in that side of it, kind of dealing with the kind of downtime of not between the games? And after when you're finished doing this job, do you see yourself going back to club manager?
I've learned how to deal with the downtime. It took me probably the first year, maybe 18 months to work out what you do between camps, how much time to spend not looking at the opposition, because sometimes you can drive yourself daft watching videos and videos before you actually come into camp. So my preparation on that side is better. I deal with that better. I've learned how to deal with the stress and the tension, and I've got another word for it, but the nonsense that can sometimes come when you're in camp. I've learned how to deal with that a little bit, the intensity of back-to-back games. Even at times there was 3-4 games in one window. So I've learned how to handle that a little bit. You know that you're going to start quite fresh, and by the end of the 8, 9, 10 days, whatever you're together, you know you're going to be a little bit more tired. So I handle that better. But I still see myself with a club job in the future. And then I look at the age of some of the young coaches and managers now, and I'm thinking, well, I hope they don't think I'm too old for it, because I'm certainly not. But at this moment in time is just to concentrate on what I'm doing here. Very short term, I've got a big target to try and achieve.
Do you think you're in a better place as well, Steve, given the experience you have getting Scotland 2 tournaments, to make a better impact at the next tournament if you get there? That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Has that been one of the kind of...
We need to get there first. So if we get there first, then I'll speak to you about what I hope is going to happen in the tournament.
Steve, as you said, you've got a good record in these kind of games against kind of lower seeded teams. What's been the kind of secret to that? And is it something that you would always mention as team talk, that there's a banana skin here and you've got to be on it?
I think all of it I've tried to emphasise is that if you want to qualify, these are the games that you have to win. You have to give yourself a platform to play against the bigger nations, where hopefully you can get more points to help you qualify. But if you drop points to the teams that are ranked below you, it makes qualification much more difficult. And if you look over the barren years, those were the years where maybe we messed up against opposition that we feel we should be beaten, and we should be beaten. So that's all really. It was just to put into the player's head that if you do want to qualify for tournaments, you have to win these games. Otherwise, it makes it much more difficult. And through the barren years, you can see that, because we had some decent results against the better sides, but slipped up against the lower sides, and suddenly you find that you haven't qualified. So I think we've improved on it, but no room for complacency.
Last couple, please, Matthew.
It seemed hopeful that Adam's injury wasn't too bad on Thursday night. Is that still the case, even though he's pulled out of the squad?
Yeah, I spoke to him. He went back down to London last night, so we had a chance to have a chat during the day yesterday. He said it felt much better yesterday, and he's in a much better place than he was when he came off.
He's due a bit of luck.
He's definitely due a bit of luck. So fingers crossed. It's just something minor. I'm pretty sure it is.
Last one on.
Before the last game, the Belarus, Steve, you swapped Grant Hanley with Scott McKenna. What was the thinking there? And if Grant does play this tomorrow night, he hits 65 caps, which is the same number as Willie Miller, which is quite something.
Something, yeah. That's for the last game was just give me a left-footed player. I thought we'd have more of the ball, certainly building from the back. It was just to give me a balance on the left-hand side. That was the thinking on that one. If Grant starts tomorrow, then 65 caps is a great achievement, because he was one of the ones that had to phone up and say, right, get off the couch, big man, and come back into the squad. So we're all thankful that he did.
You mentioned before, sorry, about what qualification would mean to you, but as we get that bit closer, does the excitement grow a little bit? Can you allow yourself to think that it's getting real now?
I don't. I need to be careful how I answer this. It's not really me. I'm excited about the next game, because I want us to win it, and then when we go through that game, I go to the next one. I know it's boring, and I know you probably think that it's just a stock answer to get rid of you, but in my case, it's very much no point in looking too far ahead. I've been in the game a long time, and if you look too far ahead, sometimes you trip up, and that's not a very nice feeling.